A smug bank clerk tossed a black man's ID back with a racist sneer, thinking she owned the room, until he dropped the bomb that he's the new branch owner, flipping her world upside down. Xavier Brooks, a 45-year-old black entrepreneur from Atlanta, stepped into a Buckhead bank for routine business, only to face a clerk's blatant prejudice when she rejected his ID. But when Xavier revealed he'd just purchased the branch, the power shifted, exposing bias and sparking a transformation. This wasn't just a bank visit. It was a bold, unapologetic stand for dignity, ownership, and justice, turning one moment into a movement that reshaped the bank and shook the city. Before we dive deep into this fire story about standing tall against hate, hit the comments and let me know where you're tuning in from. If this tale of a black man turning prejudice into power hits you in the soul, smash that like button and subscribe to Narratives of Black Struggles for more real talk on America's racial game. Your support keeps these stories lit. Picture a sleek Buckhead bank, where money flows and bias lurks, but one man's about to face shade he didn't expect. Xavier Brooks, armed with hustle and a vision, walks into a fight he didn't pick, but his truth's about to shake the room. Let's jump into the story, where the heat kicks off. Xavier Brooks pushed through the heavy glass doors of First Trust Bank's Buckhead branch, the Atlanta sun casting long shadows across the polished marble floor. June 7, 2025. The lobby pulsed with the rhythm of wealth, tellers tapping keyboards, phones humming softly, the air cool with air conditioning and laced with the faint scent of polished oak and leather. At 45, Xavier was a commanding figure, his fade razor-tight, brown eyes sharp like a hawk scanning the horizon, his navy suit tailored to perfection, a silver cufflink engraved with legacy, glinting under the chandeliers, a gift from his wife, Nia, her voice a steady drum in his mind. Own every room, Zav. You built for this. He was there to finalize paperwork for a routine account transfer, his Georgia driver's license tucked in his wallet, his briefcase heavy with ownership documents for the branch he'd just purchased. A deal closed last week, set to announce tomorrow. But a clerk's sneer was about to turn this visit into a battleground, testing his grind and igniting a fight he didn't see coming. His blackness on trial in a bank that thrived on power and privilege. The Buckhead branch, a gleaming fortress on Peachtree Road, was a hub of Atlanta's elite. Floor-to-ceiling glass walls, plush leather chairs, clients in Rolexes and Louboutins sipping complimentary espresso. Xavier, an Atlanta native, had clawed his way from Mechanicsville's grit, corner stores with barred windows, basketball courts with cracked asphalt, to build Brooks Enterprises, a real estate and finance empire worth $50 million. His latest coup, acquiring this branch, a strategic move to anchor his legacy in Atlanta's financial heart. His ID was valid, his cufflink warm against his wrist, his hustle ironclad, forged through years of navigating shade. His son, Jaden, 17, waited in the car outside, scrolling X on his phone, his voice hyped through a text. Dad, you own this joint. Let's make it lit. Xavier grinned, his heart steady, Nia's voice his anchor. Own every room. He approached the VIP desk, his suit crisp, briefcase in hand, eyes scanning the tellers. A mix of white faces, one black woman glancing up with a subtle nod of recognition. The clerk at the desk, a white woman in her 50s with a badge reading Linda, stood like a gatekeeper, her blonde hair sprayed stiff, eyes cold behind wire-rimmed glasses, her vibe radiating hurry up. ID. She barked, her hand outstretched, her voice flat and impatient, like Xavier was wasting her time. He slid his Georgia driver's license across the counter, his voice smooth, Atlanta drawl thick. Xavier Brooks, here for account transfers, VIP status. Linda snatched the ID, squinting at it, her face twisting as if she'd caught a whiff of something foul. She eyed his suit, his cufflink, his blackness, her lips pursing into a thin line. This doesn't look right, she said, her voice dripping with disdain, holding the ID up to the light like it was a counterfeit bill, her gaze flicking toward the security guard by the door. You sure this is yours, sir? Xavier's chest tightened, a familiar heat rising, but he stayed ice, his cufflink warm against his wrist, years of shade. Cops tailing him in Mechanicsville, Buckhead clients raising eyebrows at his proposals, keeping him locked in. It's mine, he said, his voice low and steady, his eyes drilling into Linda's, unyielding. Run it through your system. Do your job. Linda's smirk widened, her badge glinting under the lobby's lights, her vibe screaming, "You don't belong here." "I need another form of ID," she said, tossing the license back across the counter, her voice sharp and loud enough for nearby clients to turn. "We don't take chances with accounts like these." The word chances landed like a jab, her eyes narrowing. A clear code. Black man, no trust. The lobby stirred, clients glancing over, a white teller whispering to another, the black teller, Tasha, keeping her eyes down, the security guard shifting his weight, his hand resting on his belt. A white man in a pinstripe suit, next in line, huffed audibly. "Just move it along, man." The shade was thick, a blade slicing through the air, Linda's valid a deliberate jab at Xavier's blackness, the bank a stage for her power play. His blood boiled, but he held it down, Nia's voice roaring in his head. Own every room. He'd faced this shade his whole life. Mechanicsville cops questioning his dad's old Chevy like it was stolen, Buckhead realtors smirking when he bid on properties, bank tellers clutching pins tighter when he walked in with a suit. His father, a mechanic with dreams bigger than his auto shop, had taught him to stand tall, to build his own table when others barred him from theirs. His cufflink, given by Nia on their 20th anniversary, was a shield engraved with legacy, a reminder of the empire he'd built. Brooks Enterprises, starting with a single rental property in 2000, now spanning offices, apartments, and this very bank branch. Jaden's fire, his ex-posts hyping the ownership deal, lit Xavier's fight. "Dad's about to run this bank." The shade was a spark, Linda's sneer a match, the lobby a battleground ready to erupt. Xavier leaned forward, his voice steel, his suit crisp, sliding the ID back across the counter. "Check your system again. Xavier Brooks, account holder, major client. Run it now." Linda's smirk widened, her hand pausing over the ID, her voice rising, loud enough to draw more eyes. "Sir, without a valid ID, I can't assist you. Step aside, or I'll have to call security." The lobby froze, a hush falling over the clients. Men in suits, women in heels, all watching, some whispering, others filming. Tasha, the black teller, glanced up, her eyes flicking to Xavier, a silent "I see you," but her hands stayed still, her position precarious. The security guard, a broad-shouldered white man, took a step closer, his hand hovering near his radio, his vibe tense. The white man in the pinstripe suit huffed again, louder. "Hurry up, some of us have actual business." The shade was a blade, slicing deeper, Linda's valid, a coded accusation, the bank a stage for her control, the lobby a jury judging Xavier's every move. Xavier's heart pounded, his cufflink warm, Jaden's voice echoing through a text. "Make it lit, Dad." He wasn't folding, not after building an empire from Mechanicsville's dirt, raising Jaden with Nia, surviving a world that swung at him daily. He'd bought this branch to change the game, to own the spaces that once shaded him, his ownership papers in his briefcase, his announcement planned for tomorrow. "Get your manager," he said, his voice low and unyielding, his suit standing tall, his presence a wall. Linda's smirk twitched, her phone lifting, her voice muttering into it. "Trouble at the VIP desk, send someone now." Tasha whispered again, her voice soft but urgent. "Linda, check the VIP list, it's Brooks." Linda snapped back, her voice cutting. "I know my job, Tasha, stay out of it." The lobby was electric, clients filming, security closing in, the white man in the suit shaking his head, Jaden's ex live outside hitting 200,000 views. "Bank clerk shading my dad." Hashtag Buckhead bias. The manager's office door swung open, a white man in his 50s, suit creased, stepping out with a frown. Greg, the branch manager, his badge gleaming, his vibe cautious but authoritative. "What's the problem here?" he asked, his eyes flicking from Linda to Xavier, taking in the suit, the briefcase, the blackness. Linda jumped in, holding Xavier's ID like it was evidence, her voice sharp. "This man's ID doesn't scan properly. Claims he's a VIP client. It looks suspicious, and he's causing a scene." Greg's frown deepened, his gaze settling on Xavier, his vibe hesitant, the lobby a jury, clients whispering, phones filming, Tasha's eyes locked on the floor, security a step away. Xavier's truth, his ownership of the branch, was a bomb ticking in his briefcase, his hustle a fire ready to blaze. Linda's shade about to be reduced to ash as he prepared to flip the bank's power structure upside down. The First Trust Bank's Buckhead branch lobby crackled with tension, the marble floor gleaming under the harsh fluorescent lights. June 7, 2025. Xavier Brooks stood at the VIP desk, his navy suit tailored sharp, his fade razor tight, his brown eyes fierce like a storm rolling over Atlanta, his silver cufflink, engraved with legacy, a gift from his wife, Nia, glinting under the chandeliers. At 45, Xavier was a titan, his briefcase heavy with ownership papers for the branch he'd just purchased, his Georgia driver's license rejected by Clerk Linda, her sneer dripping with racist bias. This doesn't look right. The lobby was a pressure cooker, tellers frozen, clients staring, security looming, the air thick with shade as Linda's power play jabbed at Xavier's blackness. Jaden, his 17-year-old son, filmed from outside the glass walls, his ex-live stream blowing up, bank clerk shading my dad. Hashtag Buckhead bias. But Xavier's secret, he was the new owner of the branch, was a bomb ready to detonate, his hustle poised to flip Linda's shade into a lesson that would echo far beyond the lobby. Linda stood firm behind the counter, her badge gleaming, her blonde hair sprayed stiff, her eyes cold behind wire-rimmed glasses, her voice loud and cutting. "Step aside, sir, or I'm calling security right now." The clients in the lobby, a mix of Buckhead's elite in suits and heels, stirred, some whispering, others pulling out phones to film, the white man in a pinstripe suit behind Xavier huffing. "Just get on with it." Tasha, the black teller at the next station, glanced up, her eyes flicking to Xavier with a silent "I see you," but her hands stayed still, her position precarious. The security guard, a broad-shouldered white man, took another step closer, his hand resting on his radio, his vibe tense. Xavier's chest burned, the heat of familiar shade rising. Cops tailing him in Mechanicsville, Buckhead clients doubting his deals, bank tellers clutching pens when he walked in. But he stayed ice, his cufflink warm, Nia's voice his anchor. "Own every room, Zav. You built for this." He'd faced this shade his whole life, a constant undercurrent in a world that often questioned his place. His father, a mechanic with dreams bigger than his auto shop, had taught him to stand tall, to build his own table when others barred him from theirs. His cufflink, given by Nia on their 20th anniversary, was a shield, engraved with legacy, a reminder of Brooks Enterprises, the real estate and finance empire he'd built from a single rental property in 2000, now worth $50 million. This branch, acquired last week in a quiet deal, was his latest triumph, a strategic move to anchor his legacy in Atlanta's financial heart, his ownership announcement planned for tomorrow. Jaden's fire, his ex-posts hyping the deal, lit Xavier's fight. "Dad's about to run this bank." The shade was a spark, Linda's sneer a match, the lobby a battleground ready to erupt. "Check your system again," Xavier said, his voice steel, sliding his ID back across the counter, his suit standing tall, his presence unyielding. "Xavier Brooks, account holder, major client. Run it now." Linda's smirk widened, her hand pausing over the ID, her voice rising to carry across the lobby. "Sir, without a valid ID, I can't assist you. Step aside, or security will escort you out." The lobby froze, a hush falling over the clients. Men in tailored suits, women in designer heels. All watching, some filming, others whispering. Tasha whispered again, her voice soft but urgent. "Linda, check the VIP list, it's Brooks." Linda snapped back, her voice cutting. "I know my job, Tasha, stay out of it." The security guard closed in, his radio crackling, his vibe ready to act. The white man in the pinstripe suit shook his head, muttering, "Some people don't know their place." The shade was a blade, slicing deeper, Linda's valid, a coded accusation, the bank a stage for her control, the lobby a jury judging Xavier's every move. Xavier's heart pounded, his cufflink warm, Jaden's text flashing in his mind. "Make it lit, Dad." He wasn't folding, not after building an empire from Mechanicsville's dirt, raising Jaden with Nia, surviving a world that swung at him daily. "Get your manager," he repeated, his voice low and unyielding, his suit a wall, his presence commanding. Linda's smirk twitched, her phone lifting, her voice muttering into it. Trouble at the VIP desk. Send someone now. The lobby was electric. Clients filming, security a step away. Tasha's eyes locked on the floor, the white man in the suit shaking his head. Jaden's ex live outside hit 300,000 views. Comments roaring. Banks wilding. Hashtag Buckhead bias. The manager's office door swung open. Greg, a white man in his 50s with a creased suit and a cautious frown, stepping into the fray, his badge gleaming, his vibe authoritative but uneasy. What's the problem here? He asked, his eyes flicking from Linda to Xavier, taking in the navy suit, the briefcase, the blackness. Linda jumped in, holding Xavier's ID like it was tainted, her voice sharp and loud. This man's ID doesn't scan properly. Claims he's a VIP client. It looks suspicious, and he's causing a scene. Greg's frown deepened, his gaze settling on Xavier, his vibe hesitant, the lobby a jury, clients whispering, phones filming, Tasha's hands still, security hovering. Xavier's chest burned, but he stayed cool, his years of navigating shade. Cops questioning his dad's Chevy, Buckhead realtors smirking at his bids, bank tellers clutching pens, keeping him grounded. Run my ID, Xavier said, his voice steady, eyes drilling into Greg's, unyielding. Xavier Brooks, major client, account holder. Do it. Greg took the ID, squinting at it, his fingers hovering over the scanner, his vibe wavering under Xavier's gaze. The system beeped, the screen flashing. Brooks, Xavier, VIP, account holder, high priority. Greg's face shifted, a flicker of surprise crossing his eyes, his voice tight as he handed the ID back. It's valid, Linda. Process his request. Linda's smirk faltered, her badge dull, her voice shrill. But I checked, it didn't. Xavier cut her off, his voice fire, his presence a wall. I'm not done. I'm Xavier Brooks, and I'm the new owner of this branch, effective last week. Check your records. The lobby froze, a collective gasp rippling through the clients, Tasha's eyes snapping up, wide with shock, the security guard pausing mid-step, his radio silent. Linda's face drained of color, her clipboard clattering to the counter, her voice a stammer. Owner? That's not possible. Greg's jaw dropped, his suit creasing as he leaned forward, his voice shaky. Mr. Brooks, you're the owner? Xavier opened his briefcase, pulling out the ownership papers, deed, contract, his signature bold in black ink, sliding them across the counter with a deliberate calm. Check it, he said, his voice steel, his eyes locked on Greg, then Linda. I own this bank, and we're having a serious talk about your staff, starting with her. The room erupted, clients gasping, phones filming, Tasha nodding with a quiet yes. Jaden's ex live outside hitting 1 million views. Dad owns the bank. Clerks shook. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Linda's hands trembled, her voice cracking. I didn't know, I swear. Xavier's eyes bored into hers, his voice unyielding. You didn't check. You saw black, not client, not owner. That's your failure, Linda. Greg's face reddened, his voice low and fumbling. Mr. Brooks, my deepest apologies. I had no idea. Xavier raised a hand, his voice sharp, cutting through the air. Save the apologies. We're talking staff changes, policies, and bias, right now. Move. Xavier led Greg to the manager's office, his briefcase in hand, his suit a shield, Jaden following, his phone still filming, his voice hyped. Dad's running this joint. Tasha trailed behind, her voice soft but firm. I saw what she did, Mr. Brooks. I'm with you. Inside the office, Xavier laid it out, his voice steady, his presence commanding. Linda's fired, effective immediately. Bias has no place in my bank. We're rolling out diversity training, new hires, community-focused programs, starting tomorrow. Greg, you're on notice. Step up or step out. Greg nodded, sweat beading on his forehead, his voice weak. Understood, sir. I'll support the changes. Xavier's cufflink gleamed, Nia's voice loud in his mind. Own every room. He'd built Brooks Enterprises from a single rental property, survived shade. Cops, clients, banks, his father's lessons, Nia's unwavering love, and Jaden's fiery spirit his fuel. The reveal wasn't just about ownership. It was justice, a stand for every black face dismissed, a spark ready to blaze. Outside, the lobby buzzed. clients whispering, phones filming, Tasha stepping up to calm the tellers, her voice firm. We're good, y'all. Keep working. Jaden's X Live hit 2 million views, comments roaring. Black man owns bank, fires racist clerk. Hashtag Buckhead bias. The black couple in line, the Jacksons, clapped, their voices loud. That's our brother. A white woman in heels, Mrs. Lee, nodded, her voice soft. About time. Linda slunk out of the VIP desk, her badge off, her face pale, her shade reduced to ash as she shuffled toward the exit. The security guard backed off, his radio silent. The white man in the pinstripe suit silent, his huffing done. Xavier's truth was ablaze, his ownership a shield, the bank's power structure flipped, the lobby a stage for his legacy to take root. Flashback. Mechanicsville, 1995. Xavier, 15, stood in his dad's auto shop, watching cops question his father's Chevy, their eyes hard, shade dripping. Stand tall, son, his dad said, his voice deep and worn. Build your own, don't beg for their scraps. That day, Xavier vowed, ownership, no shade, a legacy that would outlast the sneers. Now, in the Buckhead branch, Linda's shade was dust, his ownership a supernova, his fight just beginning to reshape the bank into a beacon of justice. The First Trust Bank's Buckhead branch buzzed with a new pulse, its marble lobby gleaming under the soft glow of June's afternoon Sunday, June 14, 2025, a week after Xavier Brooks's seismic reveal. He was the new owner, shattered clerk Linda's racist shade, sending ripples through Atlanta's financial heart. Xavier stood in his corner office, overlooking the lobby through floor-to-ceiling glass, his navy suit sharp, his fade razor-tight, his brown eyes steady like the Atlanta skyline at dusk, his silver cufflink, Nia's legacy gift, glinting. At 45, he was a visionary, his desk buried in blueprints for change, diversity training schedules, community loan proposals, new hire contracts, his Brooks Enterprises logo etched on the wall, a symbol of his empire. Jaden, his 17-year-old son, filmed a tour of the office for X, his voice hyped. Dad's running this bank, y'all. It's our time. Hashtag Buckhead bias. The lobby below, new tellers, black clients, rebranded signs, was alive, Linda's firing a shockwave, her shade reduced to ash. But the bank's old ways lingered like smoke, and Xavier's fight was shifting, his hustle now focused on rebuilding the branch into a beacon of justice, a legacy for Atlanta's underserved. The lobby was transformed, new signs reading First Trust. Community First hung above the counters. Tasha, the black teller who'd backed Xavier, now promoted to lead supervisor, her badge shining as she trained a diverse team. X clips of Xavier's ownership reveal had gone global, racking up 25 million views, comments roaring. Black excellence. Bank's ours now. Nia Brooks, Xavier's wife, 43, stood beside him, her blazer crisp, braids coiled high, her eyes warm but fierce, her tablet humming with marketing plans for the bank's rebrand. You flipped this place, Xav, she said, her voice smooth, Atlanta drawl thick. Now make it a home for our people. Xavier nodded, his cufflink warm, Jaden's voice his spark. Make it lit. The reveal had rocked Buckhead. Linda fired, Greg demoted to assistant manager, Xavier's ownership trending on X. Black man owns bank, shuts down racist clerk. Hashtag Buckhead bias. But whispers of resistance lingered, staff doubting the changes, white clients pulling accounts, shades simmering in the corners of the lobby. Xavier called a staff meeting in the conference room. 35 tellers, security guards, and support staff packed in, his voice steady and commanding. This bank is mine, and we're rewriting the rules. Bias is out, Linda's gone for good. Starting tomorrow, mandatory diversity training, new hires rolling in, and community loan programs launching. We're serving all of Atlanta, not just Buckhead's elite. Who's riding with me? Tasha stepped up, her voice firm. I'm in, Mr. Brooks. Let's build this right. A white teller, Mike, shifted in his seat, his voice low and skeptical. Change is tough, sir. Some clients want the old ways. Xavier's eyes locked onto Mike, his voice unyielding. Tougher for black clients who've been shaded here for years. You either get on board or find the door. Jaden's X live stream from the hallway. Dad's reshaping the bank. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Hit 5 million views. Comments hyping. Clean house, Xavier. The room was a crucible, Xavier's vision of flame, the old shade bending under his resolve. Clients tested the waters. White regulars like Mr. Hayes pulled their accounts, muttering about standards slipping and too much change. But a black couple, the Jacksons, opened a business loan, their voices loud. "This is our bank now, Mr. Brooks. Your family." Mechanicsville clients flooded in. Entrepreneurs, single parents, church groups, drawn by Xavier's low-interest loans and financial literacy classes, their trust his fuel. Nia's rebrand. First Trust. Community First, lit up Buckhead with new ads, murals on the bank's exterior depicting Atlanta's history, and community events planned for the weekend. Her voice was sharp. "We're not just Buckhead's bank, Zav. We're Atlanta's heartbeat." Xavier's cufflink gleamed, Nia's words loud in his mind. Own every room. He'd built Brooks Enterprises from a single rental property in 2000, survived shade. Cops questioning his dad's Chevy, Buckhead realtors smirking at his bids, bank tellers clutching pens, his father's lessons, Nia's unwavering love, and Jaden's fiery spirit his anchors. Tasha flagged an issue, her voice low. "Mike's been shading black clients, low-key stuff, delaying approvals, extra ID checks. I called him out, but he's sneaky." Xavier nodded, his voice steel. "He's on notice. We're auditing every teller's transactions for bias." Jaden's ex-post. "Bank's changing, but shade's still creeping." Hashtag Buckhead Bias. Hit 8 million views, comments roaring. "Fire him, Xavier." The bank's old guard resisted. Mike whispering to other tellers, security guards eyeing black clients longer than others, subtle shade lingering like smoke in the corners. Xavier met with HR, his voice firm. "Run audits, flag bias, suspend anyone slipping. This stops now." The lobby was a stage, Xavier's ownership a spotlight, his fight shifting from revelation to transformation. Community programs took root, literacy classes packed with Mechanicsville families, youth savings accounts launched for teens, partnerships with local churches and schools. A black entrepreneur, Ms. Carter, secured a loan for her bakery, her voice loud. "You're giving us a shot, Mr. Brooks." White clients like Mrs. Lee, who'd stayed, opened new accounts, her voice soft. "I see what you're doing. It's right." X trended. Black-owned bank for Atlanta. Hashtag Buckhead Bias. Nia's campaign. Ads on buses, murals in Mechanicsville, festivals planned. Lit up the city, her voice fierce. "This bank's for us, Zav." Xavier's vision was ablaze, his legacy taking root. Shade fading under the weight of his hustle. Flashback. Mechanicsville, 2000. Xavier, 20, watched his dad lose his auto shop to a bank's loan denial, shade dripping from their eyes. "Build your own, son," his dad said, his voice rough but proud. "Don't beg for their table." That day, Xavier vowed. Ownership, no shade, a legacy that would outlast the sneers. Now, in the Buckhead branch, Linda's shade was dust, his ownership a supernova, his fight a shift toward justice. The First Trust Bank's Buckhead branch thrummed with purpose, its marble lobby alive under the warm glow of July's morning Sunday, July 15th, 2025, a month after Xavier Brooks's ownership reveal obliterated Linda's racist shade, turning the bank into a community hub. Xavier stood in the vault room, inspecting new security upgrades, his navy suit sharp, his fade razor tight, his brown eyes blazing like a torch, his silver cufflink. Nia's legacy gift, glinting. At 45, he was a trailblazer, his office a command center stacked with plans, community loan portfolios, literacy program schedules, diversity hiring contracts, his Brooks Enterprises logo a beacon of his empire. Jaden, 17, filmed a vault tour for X, his voice hyped. "Dad's building a bank for the people, y'all." Hashtag Buckhead Bias. The lobby below, new tellers, black and Latino clients, rebranded murals, was a hive of activity. Linda's shade ash, Mike on thin ice. Xavier's fight was building, his hustle reshaping the bank into a movement, his legacy a fire spreading across Atlanta. The lobby was a masterpiece. New signs proclaiming First Trust. Community First, murals of Atlanta's civil rights heroes adorning the walls, Tasha leading a diverse team of 40 tellers, her badge shining as she trained new hires. X clips of Xavier's reveal had hit 75 million views. Comments roaring. Black excellence. This bank's ours. Nia, 43, reviewed marketing analytics in Xavier's office. Her blazer crisp, braids high, her tablet humming with data from the rebrand campaign. You're changing the game, Zav, she said, her voice smooth, Atlanta drawl thick. Make it a home for our city. Xavier nodded, his cufflink warm, Jaden's voice his spark. Make it lit. The bank was thriving. 1,000 new black clients, 500 Latino, community loans up 300%, literacy classes overflowing, youth accounts booming. But shade lingered. Mike's subtle bias. White clients dipping, whispers of too much change in Buckhead's elite circles. Xavier met with staff, his voice steady and commanding. We're Atlanta's bank. 1,500 new clients, 50% diverse staff, community programs killing it. Bias is dead. Mike, you're on notice. Diversity training's mandatory, new hires are rolling in, and we're launching a scholarship fund. Who's with me? Tasha led cheers, her voice firm. All in, Mr. Brooks. Mike shifted, his voice low. Some clients want tradition, sir. Xavier's eyes locked onto him, his voice steel. They want service, not shade. Step up or step out. Jaden's X live from the lobby. Banks building, shades fading. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Hit 12 million views. Comments hyping. Run it. Xavier. The room was a forge, Xavier's vision a hammer, shade bending under his resolve. Clients flooded in, black entrepreneurs, Mechanicsville families, Latino startups. Their trust Xavier's fuel. Ms. Carter, a black baker, expanded her shop with a loan, her voice loud. You're giving us life, Mr. Brooks. White clients like Mr. Hayes pulled accounts, muttering standards slipping, but others, like Mrs. Lee, stayed, her voice soft. This bank's better now. Nia's rebrand, ads on MARTA trains, murals in Vine City, festivals in Mechanicsville, lit Atlanta, her voice fierce. We're not just a bank, we're a movement. Xavier hired 15 black tellers, 10 Latino, 5 Asian managers, Tasha's team of family, her voice firm. We're building, Mr. Brooks. The bank was a canvas, Xavier's legacy a brush, shade fading. Tasha reported. Mike's at it again, delaying black clients' loans, extra checks. I documented it. Xavier fired him, his voice steel. No room for bias, period. Jaden's ex-post. Shades out, banks up. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Hit 20 million views. Comments roaring. Clean house. Programs grew, scholarships for teens, job fairs for Mechanicsville, partnerships with HBCUs, X-trending. Black-owned bank for Atlanta. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Xavier's cufflink gleamed, Nia's voice loud. Own every room. His legacy was ablaze, shade dust, his fight building a future. Flashback. Mechanicsville, 2010. Xavier, 30, bought his first property, a bank denying his loan, shade in their eyes. Build your own, Nia said, her voice fierce. That day, he vowed. Ownership, no shade, a legacy. The bank was his now, Mike's shade dust, his fight to build. The First Trust Bank's Buckhead branch soared under October's golden light, October 15, 2025, for months after Xavier Brooks's ownership reveal crushed Linda's racist shade, transforming the bank into a community powerhouse. Xavier stood in the lobby, his navy suit sharp, fade tight, brown eyes blazing like a harvest moon, his silver cufflink, Nia's legacy gift, glinting. At 45, he was a legend, his office a hub, community loans, literacy programs, diverse staff, his Brooks Enterprises logo a symbol of triumph. Jaden, 17, filmed a grand reopening for X, voice hyped. Dad's bank is ours, y'all. Hashtag Buckhead bias. The lobby, murals, new tellers, black clients, was a beacon, Linda's shade ash, Mike's bias gone, Xavier's legacy ablaze, his hustle a harvest for Atlanta. The lobby was a masterpiece. Murals of Atlanta's heroes, Tasha leading 50 tellers, her badge shining. X clips of Xavier's reveal hit 150 million views, comments roaring. Black excellence. Our bank, Nia, 43, launched a statewide campaign, her blazer crisp, voice warm. This is Atlanta's heart, Zav. Xavier grinned, cufflink warm, Jaden's voice is spark. Make it lit. The bank thrived. 2,000 black clients. 1,000 Latino. Loans up 500%. Literacy classes citywide. Scholarships launched. Shade was dust. Mike fired. White clients like Mr. Hayes gone. New ones flooding. X trending. Black-owned bank for us. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Xavier addressed staff. Voice steady. We're Atlanta's soul. 3,000 clients. 60 staff. Community first. Bias is dead. Legacy's alive. Who's in? Tasha led cheers. Voice firm. All in. New tellers. Black, Latino, Asian. Nodded. Their vibe family. Jaden's X Live. Bank's legacy mode. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Hit 30 million views. Comments hyping. Run it. Xavier. Clients poured in. Black startups. Mechanicsville families. Latino entrepreneurs. Their trust Xavier's fuel. Ms. Carter's bakery chain grew. Her voice loud. You're our hero, Mr. Brooks. Nia's campaign. Murals. Ads. Festivals. Lit Georgia. Her voice sharp. We're not a bank. We're a movement. Xavier's programs. Scholarships. Job fairs. HBCU hubs. Changed lives. X trending. Black-owned bank for Atlanta. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Tasha's team shined. Her voice firm. We're family. Mrs. Lee, a white client, stayed. Voice soft. You changed us. The bank was a canvas. Xavier's legacy a masterpiece. Shade erased. Atlanta rallied. Churches, schools, startups banking with First Trust. X trending. Black-owned bank for Georgia. Hashtag Buckhead bias. Xavier's cufflink gleamed. Nia's voice loud. On every room. His legacy was ablaze. A harvest no shade could dim. Flashback. Mechanicsville, 2020. Xavier, 40, signed his first $1 million deal. Nia at his side. Jaden watching. Build for them. Nia said, voice fierce. That day, he vowed. Ownership, no shade, a legacy. The bank was his harvest. Linda's shade dust, his fight eternal. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to know what true strength looks like. Join us at Narratives of Black Struggles for more stories that shine a light on resilience and justice.